Today, going over to the business blunder of the day, you have Drizly to be shut down after Uber had bought the company. Now, Drizly, that little bear, what's a good metaphor for a bear? It didn't eat honey. It ended up eating poisonous hamburgers, something to that effect, when it's stealing the picnic basket. Now, Uber bought the company a couple years back, and apparently they're shutting it down. They did buy it for $1.1 billion, and part of that money was the intellectual property, the logo, and the infrastructure, the programming, and all the software. But I mean, part of it is also the customers, so they're acquisition costs in that regard. And now they're shutting it down. And the whole idea of Drizly was the idea that you can order alcohol from your phone and have it delivered. Now, in the United States, there are certain items and certain controlled substances which traditionally you need a brick and mortar because it is a controlled substance. You need either, if it's a firearm, you need a background check, which most of them are done remote, or most of the time you need to do the 4473, which is the paperwork to buy a gun. You have to go there. Excuse me. In terms of alcohol, you need to check your ID. And some states actually barred alcohol from being delivered. So when Drizly came out with this app where you could buy booze from your phone if you're so inebriated or so desperate for alcohol in your life that you needed it, driving to the store is just too much work for you. Apparently, it's a brilliant idea, and they bought it for $1.1 billion, with, again, Uber trying to bolster their delivery systems when they bought Postmates even earlier, where they can deliver food to you. So not only could you get your most likely unhealthy food, but now you can become inebriated by purchasing alcohol from them as well. And it looks like they noted that they're going to be shutting it down as they try to put it more into the corporate app of Uber Eats, which, again, Postmates is another logo that they killed when they bought it. And I mean, they said you can get, Drizly is known for having a large selection of beer, wine, and liquor. You order it from local retailers and deliver it through the app. And let me see here. They also noted that Drizly's closure, the company said that they're trying to focus more on Uber Eats. They were pivoting to that. And they said, quote, "We're grateful to the Drizly team for their many contributions to the growth of the beverage alcohol delivery category as the original industry pioneer," unquote. It looks like, but it's one of those things where I debate how much value they really got out of it. I suppose you got customer acquisition costs, but one of the biggest values from it was also the logo, the branding, and I suppose some would argue it's just a matter of time until you integrate it. You see this with an overwhelming majority of acquisitions for most businesses. Most of the time, no matter how powerful the brand is, they usually just throw it to the, throw it away like a step, they just don't want it anymore, unfortunately. And there's been some brilliant mascots and brands that over 3 years have died because of acquisitions. They just didn't value it enough. And I would debate they probably should have ran it in parallel a little bit while longer. Now, I'm not seeing any statistics in terms of if they actually took a loss on it. Because, again, I wonder how many customers do they really gain and how much do they really gain in terms of software when, again, the mechanism for buying the alcohol is very similar to just the food. It's just a different category. So I don't suspect they gain much intellectual property in terms of having the same thing for restaurants, but now just for the beer and alcohol beverage community. Perhaps there's some de facto permits that they got, or in terms of they have some relationships that were solidified already, so they don't have to worry about getting those relationships going with the distributors and with the alcohol and all the booze stores. But again, to pay $1.1 billion for it. And out of curiosity, let's go look at the Uber stock to see how much did this affect their stock, or the news of this affect the stock rather. And past 5 days, well, pretty much none. So perhaps in that regard, it's not too bad. It looks like the 5-year trend for Uber Technologies is up 53.12%. Year to date, they're increased 117.98%. Or sorry, past year. Year to date, they're up 9.3%. Past 6 months, they're up 39.86%. 1 month, they're 3.11% increased. 5-day increased by 8.82%, which hindsight's always 2020. That company is losing money for years. And a lot of people didn't think they were going to make it, but truth be told, I believe it was 2 or 3 years ago, they made their first profit, and they're doing pretty darn good. Now, granted, investing, hindsight's always 2020, that's why I don't give financial advice. The only advice I usually give is invest in yourself. Start a hobby, maybe start your own business. If you feel so inclined, just know it's going to be tough times. But eventually, if you work hard enough in life, with many things, you will be successful. So it'll be interesting to see if anyone tries to, if they try to resell the intellectual property, like the logo, but I mean, to buy all that, I really don't think they got much value out of it. I mean, maybe they got the customer acquisition cost. I think you always have to debate that the same customers are already people that are already, if they were buying alcohol remotely, they're probably already having food delivered to them. So let me know in the comments. I just feel forever a $1.1 billion acquisition, and now they're just shutting it down. It just, they maybe got a couple of customers out of it, but the brand they didn't really value because the brand is gone. The infrastructure is going to be gone because that's going to be, again, migrated to the main app, which is already around. They're just adding an extra plugin or line item for the booze, I suppose. But all that being said, I can't help but think that is just certainly the business blunder of the day. Thank you, everyone, for taking the time to tune in today. Again, trying to get to 4,000 subscribers by the end of January. So click that button. I would greatly appreciate it. Also, leaving a comment and a like or even a thumbs down is a great way to give me some additional feedback, letting me know how I can make the show better and better. Lastly, don't forget to take time to tell your family, tell your friends, tell your coworkers, heck, tell your enemies, tell anyone and everyone. Just stay safe, fight the good fight.